different stories in the Bible so that you can anchor the what this lesson is about on stories that we know, most of us who read the Bible. The first story is the story of Rebecca and Jacob. Then we have the story of Joseph, Jacob, and his 12 disciples. And just as I'm speaking on this family, you can see that the so-called chosen family was actually on top there in terms of brothers who perceived themselves as inadequate and sought to rise against those that they saw were more favored than them. There's also the story of John the Baptist, the story of Jesus, Paul, the story of Christ. And also there's the story of Nehemiah, who once requested the king of, I believe it was Artaxerxes, or not sure which king it was, but he requested him to give him permission to go and rebuild the walls of Jerusalem. At this point, Nehemiah was kind of also in bondage because he was living in exile, but he had gained the favor of the king in that he was his cupbearer. But we'll come to that as the last part or the last bit. But first, let's delve into the story of Rebecca and Jacob. So once Jacob became very old, Jacob was unable to see, and his time was waning. And Rebecca was very in tune with what was happening. So he noticed that Jacob will be going home anytime soon. And he also noticed that Jacob was a very blessed man. Remember, he warred with the angels, and the angels had promised him that we will give you this place. Okay, actually, I'm supposed to be talking about not Jacob, but Isaac. The story of Jacob's inheritance comes later. But the story of Isaac, when he was getting old, Rebecca noticed, and he informed his son. It's always a woman. They informed, just kidding. She informed her son, the son was Jacob, that your dad is getting old. So anything may happen anytime. So what you're going to do, because we know that he favors your brother, who is called Esau, or Esau, depending on where you're coming from, or which side of the world you're born. So he told Rebecca, who was very sly, told Jacob, be ready, because anytime now your father is going to be dying, and before he dies, make sure that the gift or the blessing that was bestowed upon him through Abraham, by the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, make sure that you're getting this blessing. And indeed, time came, and Isaac called Esau or Esau to his room, and he told him, my days are almost over, and I want to give you the blessings, because Esau was the firstborn in this family. So he told him, go and bring an animal, because Esau was allegedly a hunter. Go and bring an animal, and a tender one, so that I can eat, and so that with my last blessing, I can give you your spiritual inheritance. So Rebecca overheard this, and Rebecca went behind the wishes of Isaac, and told the second one, who was Jacob, told him, your dad is planning something. He's planning to gift the second born inheritance. So what we're going to do is we're going to swap. In essence, we're going to swap his destiny that he's going to enter by virtue of this inheritance. So you go and get a kid from our stable, or from within our compound, because you see, Esau had decided to go and hunt, which will take more time but Jacob decided to get something that will not cost him so much time. So these are two different kinds of sacrifices. Even though one was less worthy than the other, still Jacob managed to swap his blessings, or the blessings of Esau, because he killed that baby, that kid, took it to his mama, and the mom prepared it, took it to Jacob, and pretended that it was a hunt. He also did something that is very important and which also the people who delve into this habit of destiny swapping, because this is something that happens spiritually through witchcraft. So And so this sacrifice that was of lower value than the hunt that Esau was going to get from his field, was brought before Isaac, and he wasn't. Actually, he suspected. He asked, "It was just a few moments ago that I sent you. How did you get to the hunt so fast? How are you able to manage it?" And Jacob pretended and said, "My God was with me. Don't worry about it. God went ahead of me, and my venture was successful." So, which brings an aspect of false accusations and lying. This is what happens when people resort to witchcraft for the purpose of destiny swapping. They bring false accusation first. They bring pretext where they pretend to be somebody. The someone that they know is the rightful heir. They pretend to be that person, and the pretense comes. This is why it's called energy. Also, some people refer to it as energy swapping, which means they clothe themselves in your energy, which is what Isaac did when he wore his mother, after slaughtering the kid for Jacob, for Esau, um, dressed dressed his son in the fur of the animal, because they knew that his father would be able to tell them apart. Because for one, this hunter smells different from this one who just hangs around their mother, waiting for free things and waiting for the livestock to just drop dead so that he can eat them, while the other son was in the forest creating wealth for himself. So this is what happened. They dressed him in the fur so that when Esau touched him, because he wanted to confirm, "Come near to me," because he said, "Your voice is different." And this is what happens also. Your angel is able to tell apart. He has some aspects that he knows about you, but these destiny swappers will go and clothe themselves and come and say, "No, I'm this, I'm so and so, let me in, I'm so and so, give me what belongs to such and such," which is the swapping of the blessing. Swapping, destiny swapping basically means that I come, invade your spiritual protection, invade your spiritual home, and also bind your angels and your protectors to my demands, so that I can possess the gifts that you are supposed to possess. So you'll find these people will come and after gaining entry into your energy, they'll gain authority over your gifts, gain authority over your powers, and start making demands to your spiritual protection. And by this time, remember, they're claiming your position. So you'll have somebody ruling your spirit. Remember, it's written that a man who rules their spirit, who does not have the rule of their spirit, is like a city without a wall. So this is actually what happens once they gain access to your city. They break your walls down so that you can become a city without a wall, and they can masquerade in this city and bring you to your failure. So the blessing was given to Esau, and when it was given to Jacob, and when Esau came later, he noticed that there was what had happened. He knew later what had happened, and he came and informed the dad, and the dad was very distraught. And he said, he asked him, "Who is it that came before you?" Because somebody came here, and I already blessed him with a blessing that you are supposed to get. But however, because I've already blessed him, which means I've already begun a new cycle. He has already entered into a cycle that was supposed to be yours, and he has swapped with you. And this is a destiny swap. He has swapped with you, and you have entered a destiny in which you will be subservient to your brother. However, and this is the saving grace that God gave to Esau. He told him, "To you, I will give a sword, so that eventually you'll be able to fight your way to freedom." So, this is what happens also in real life. These people will come and swap your destiny because they saw that what you have and coveted it, were not satisfied, did not want to work like Jacob. He did not want to go into the forest to hunt. So he said, let me just get into the barn and get a kid and go and slaughter him. A sacrifice that had not costed him anything, but he presented it as a sacrifice that had costed him, which was a kind of in the cards it will come out as a 7 of sword. Seven of Swords kind of a transaction where somebody comes to take something that is through pretext and mischief. It's like thievery, which comes all the requirements that Esau or Isaac had given to Esau, which was hunt, bring a sacrifice, cook it for me, offer return to me, and I will give you a blessing. So you see, none of those requirements were fulfilled, and yet he managed to steal what did not belong to him. He did not hunt. He did not cook. He brought it to his mother. He did not even have the energetic signature of his brother, and his dad felt something was off, but because his mother was very mischievous, he dressed him in the kids what is it, hide, so that he will be able to masquerade. So this masquerade is what is called energy swapping. This is what exactly happens when people energy swap. You have people out there who do not want to work for God's favor. They are jealous of the people who are out there hunting and bringing gifts to God. And it's in exchange of these gifts that God is giving to them. But you do not want to sacrifice yourself. You do not want to give to God. And when you give mischievous offerings. You give offerings that are not up to standard. Because Esau, let's assume Esau was God. He had requirements for the offerings that he required. First of all, work for it. Go and hunt. Second of all, cook it for me in the way that I want it. Make it tender. Third, come with your own essence, and it's an essence that is acceptable before me. And that is the essence of Esau. So we have people who are coming before God with false sacrifices and swapping the blessings of those who are chosen, because in this instance, it's Esau who was chosen, but eventually Jacob managed to steal his blessings. The good news for Jacob is that he was given a sword. And for all people out there whose destinies have been swapped, whose blessings have been stolen, you have a sword. You're not meant to lazy in that in regret, to wallow in poverty and saying, oh, somebody stole something that belonged to me, who's me, I'll never recover from this. You're not supposed to do that, because you also have a sword. Because this, remember, it was meant for you, and it was acquired by person B through mischief, through a seven of sword and a devil's if it was to come out in cards, it will come out as devil, seven of sword. It will come out as a blinded eight of sword person who was blinded to his gifts by reason of this person who took over his gifts.